WandaVision, what did you think?
Brilliant.
It was good, wasn't it?
I thought it was a great episode. Fantastic. Like, probably one of my favourites so far.
I think it was my favourite so far.
Yeah.
The format break was exactly what it needed, because I was enjoying all the sitcom stuff, but obviously now we're episode 4.
Yep.
We need something a little bit different, and I think it absolutely delivered. And I thought it was satisfying from start to finish, seeing all these little pieces that you've seen from the earlier episodes come back together.
Yes.
Yep.
When they first set it up as not being the sitcom format, I was a little disappointed, but by the end, I was fully on board.
I was on board just because I think Endgame could have dialed up how much we see regular people and how they're affected by what they're calling the blip now. Of course, many people, what's bound to happen is in that 5 years, people that you say or didn't get a chance to say goodbye to, that you got dusted. All your loved ones, they're still up for grabs, aren't they? Like, there's still a chance they could die. And I thought that was a really interesting idea, that as she's reformed and everyone else is getting reformed, and there's chaos, yes, but it's ultimately a moment where life is reborn, and it's a happy moment in Endgame. It's not a happy moment for Rambo, is it? It's like, oh, my mum's dead. Like, that's all. And also, she spent 2 years. She died knowing that I disappeared and probably would never come back. That's so sad. I hope we delve into that more, not only in this series but in Captain Marvel 2. I'm very excited for this character to go into Captain Marvel 2 now.
100%.
Imagine getting dusted, and then you come back and you go to find your partner, and they're remarried or some shit like that.
That'd be hard, wouldn't it?
Oh, you haven't seen Far From Home, have you? There's a really good joke they do in Far From Home where one of the nerdy teachers is like, yeah, my wife, I thought she got dusted. Turns out she just run away and married some other guy.
Yeah, I remember that.
So, yeah, I need to watch Far From Home because I'm a little confused about how he's still in school and all his friends are still in school.
Yeah, I've always found the way they dealt with the blip incredibly messy. Incredibly messy.
Especially in that movie, yeah.
It's weird that everyone is fine with this reality where basically some people that weren't snapped have aged 5 years, and people that haven't snapped have gone back into school. So there's a character in it that's was a kid and now he's 5 years older, and he's gotten sexy now because he's hit puberty, and everyone's like, wow, back when we got dusted, he wasn't
That's
hot at
so
all.
weird.
I do think, though, I do keep thinking recently that, we've got the multiverse of madness and that coming and stuff like that. I've got a feeling that this blip stuff is kind of like the MCU of how can we play and tell some interesting stories with this? And I've got a feeling that there's going to be a film later on that kind of does that. I've got a feeling they're going to almost reverse what's kind of happened with all these alternate timelines and stuff. I've got a feeling that they're going to tell all these kind of stories during the blip, and then we're going to have a movie later on, I don't know, a Spider-Man movie, or I don't know, whatever, in terms of a Doctor Strange or whatever, where they kind of do that kind of thing of reversing the time. I don't know.
So it's a bit like Days of Future Past, where it's yeah, we killed Jean Grey and Cyclops in these previous movies, but now with some time travel shenanigans, we can reset it all how we want it to be.
And I think that's how they're going to bring in more people into the MCU as well, like the X-Men and stuff. I've got a feeling that. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, I'm starting to wonder if. I think Wanda is the key to bringing in the X-Men.
Yeah.
She should be the protagonist in the first X-Men movie. Her dad is Magneto.
Yeah.
There's so much room and so much sense to be made of her being the main character in an X-Men movie.
Yes.
And she should be the one that brings them into this reality, no?
Yeah.
I hope that's what happens.
Cool.
WandaVision, her in Doctor Strange 2, then let's X-Men it, baby. Scarlet Witch and the X-Men.
100%. Bring Fassbender back.
I should possibly watch X-Men before all this happens.
Yeah, well, you're not really a fan of it, are you?
Watch it anyway.
I've just not really had much interest in it. I don't know. I think Hugh Jackman as Wolverine put me off. I don't know. I'm not. I know. I've just got all the controversial opinions. I'm sorry.
I think maybe what would be beneficial if we watched one without him in it, like X-Men First Class, which is really good, and it's sort of it's set in the 60s. It's in a different sort of sphere to the other movies.
Okay,
what a shame.
I'm game. I also began watching Solo last night.
Oh, did you?
But somebody wanted to go to bed, so I didn't get to finish it.
I'm sorry, I was playing video games with Adam. I came over to her laptop, and I was excited because she'd gotten to the train heist as well. It's one of the best bits of the movie.
Yeah, nice.
We'll watch it today.
Yeah, we'll finish it, and then I'll tell you all about it next week.
To be fair, I think you could have stayed up and finished it, but you were very tired as well.
Maybe.
The jury's out.
Lincoln Lawyer strikes again.
I just wanted to say that the structure of this I'm loving, and I'm more of a fan of the structure of the WandaVision than the Mandalorian. In terms of, I think it's a lot more thought out. It seems to me. I mean, maybe I like the Mandalorian. Don't get me wrong, but this to me is like what I kind of wanted, like this narrative and everything's tied in. It doesn't feel like we're just getting random episodes of random things. Like, I love that structurally we've had all the answers we've become questioning the last couple of episodes answered, because now it kind of feels like, oh, hold on a minute, what's happening now? Like in a similar way to like in Psycho, for example, when the protagonist is killed halfway through. I mean, I can say this movie came out in 1960, so if you haven't seen it yet, but
I mean, people are offended by spoilers of any variety.
Yeah, because I was going to say another movie, but I thought that's a little bit sooner, so I'll go for that. I'll go for the original one.
Don't worry, I'll still get a comment from someone saying you spoiled Psycho.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Once something's been a few years old, it's up for grabs to my mind. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can't spoiler warning everything. It's impossible. It's really hard to do.
To talk about it. But yeah, no, and I think that, you know, when that happens in that movie, it kind of becomes like so unnerving, because you're like, well, what's the rest of the movie then? Like, what's happening? You're so used to this sort of structure that when things get flipped on the head, you're like, oh, well, there's like a really, I can't explain it. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like a feeling of like anything could happen.
Yes, yeah.
That's one of the reasons why, you know, we like The Last Jedi, is because it does that similar thing of like everything the story you've known before. Oh wait, no.
Yeah.
This is not that, and then it gives you that excitement in the cinema when you watch a movie like that, where it's like, oh, I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So for someone that, you know, watches quite a lot of movies, you kind of pick up patterns and you get used to structure. So when you see
there's
things,
the save the cat moment.
Yeah, exactly. So that kind of happens, and I think that I mean, obviously this has been done before, but I just like it structurally for this TV show that we've had all the answers essentially, and now it's like, okay, well, what's next then? What's to come?
Yes, it's not just been like drip feeding you stuff. It's like we've gotten answers that have all tied in a really nice way. It's cool to see it from a different perspective, and now we're learning more about the town, aren't we? Because last week we discussed like, do the townsfolk know? Yeah, I think they've kind of rejigged that again this week. I'm in two minds of it again. I think perhaps some people know, some people don't.
So is the director for WandaVision the same for each episode, or do we have different directors?
I believe so. 'Cause it was Matt Shackman for the opening. I think he's done all of them. He has done all of them.
Yeah.
I think that really shows, doesn't it?
Yeah, 100%. Like you can feel in The Mandalorian that each episode kind of has different tones and different styles.
I don't always mind that.
Yeah, no, I think it kind of works for it in a way. But
I think it's to its detriment with the storytelling. I don't like compared to WandaVision. If that
now that you've
sense.
Seen what it's like,
I see what you mean though. Yeah.
Yeah. It does feel like it's. I think this has blown my mind more than Mandalorian in terms of what we can do on TV, because this genuinely feels one-to-one like I'm watching the MCU in the cinema.
Yeah.
I think it's helped by the fact it's the same characters, but also the fact that it is one big ongoing narrative, and it does feel important, doesn't it? It feels just as important as watching an MCU film that you need for the whole story. Like, we've seen that Monica Rambeau's mother from Captain Marvel is now dead. Like, Jeremy, like, we've seen more texture to the blip. Like, we're seeing what Wanda's up to. Also, I like that they're bringing in characters from less good Marvel efforts, like Jimmy Woo from Ant-Man and the Wasp, and Darcy from, Thor 1's good, but
Thor 1's great.
She's in Thor: The Dark World.
I like Darcy.
I'm really glad she's back.
Yeah.
And Jimmy Woo. I think they've both got some of the most funny lines in the episode. Oh, and he's like, "Why would you make a sitcom starring two Avengers?" I also really liked what you guys were saying when we were watching it. Of like, it's sort of become. It was a bit of a meta masterpiece, this episode, wasn't it? Because we've been spending the last 3 weeks watching the sitcom stuff going, oh, what does that mean? Why have they said that? What does this mean? And now you're getting to watch Darcy and Jimmy Woo have all those same questions. Like, oh, we need to get someone here to analyse this.
Yeah. Once all the questions are answered, I would like to binge watch it and be like, oh yeah, there's that because of that and that because of that, which I think would be really interesting.